Welcome back to another episode of 10 Minutes with Travis. Now, if you're a parent or one of Kim Kardashian's 130 million Instagram followers, or both, you might have been scared recently by the MoMo challenge, a video being spliced into kid-friendly content on YouTube, allegedly instructing kids watching to kill themselves. Despite no one actually being able to prove that they saw the video, and a simple Google search revealing that that disturbing figurine was actually made for a Japanese horror show exposition years ago, seemingly out of nowhere, moms started sharing and reposting themselves into a frenzy, convinced that their kids were just a click away from something crawling out of their screens like that thing from the Ring movie. Of course, by the time it was revealed to be a hoax, the internet had moved on to parents gleefully tossing slices of cheese on their infants, proving the old adage that a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth throws cheese on their kids' faces, or something. But before you breathe a sigh of relief and hand that iPad back to your kid, don't. While there's not a Japanese doll telling your kids to kill themselves, there is plenty of terrifying and trash-filled content on YouTube, and even more alarming, YouTube Kids. Because none of this content is being monitored by actual humans unless and until it's flagged, videos with titles like Paw Patrol Babies Pretend to Die Suicide by Annabelle Hypnotized, and others with scenes where an off-brand Mickey lies in a pool of blood while Minnie looks on in horror could be served up daily to your unsuspecting toddler while you're busy making dinner. Why? Because money. YouTube and these automated content creators get paid for every eyeball, even when they leave that eyeball scarred for life. But the real reason the MoMo story went viral so quickly is that most parents today are genuinely concerned they're letting their kids have too much screen time. In the same way our parents were worried that we were playing too many video games, and our parents' parents were worried that the Beatles would turn everyone gay. That's why they didn't like the Beatles, right? I mean, come together. How are you supposed to know how much screen time is too much anyway? Well, this might be surprising, but guess how much screen time the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends for kids under 18 months? 0 minutes a day. In fact, until they're 5, doctors recommend no more than 1 hour a day of highly educational content, and never without a parent right by their side. But what do they know? They're just doctors, right? In reality, American kids under 2 are spending an average of 42 minutes every day staring at screens, while kids 2 to 4 are spending 2.5 hours a day, and 5 to 8-year-olds are spending close to 3 hours every day in front of screens. That's a lot of dead off-brand Mickey Mouse. But come on, we grew up watching TV and playing video games, and we're fine. And our parents were mostly heterosexual after the British invasion, so what's the worst that could happen? Well, we're just starting to find out. Results from the first major study were released at the end of last year, and spoiler alert, it's not looking good. The NIH, who's following more than 11,000 9 and 10-year-olds, found that kids who spent more than 2 hours a day in front of screens scored lower on thinking and language tests, while kids who spent more than 7 hours a day staring at screens had a premature thinning in their brain's cerebral cortex. This is in addition to studies showing how social media sites are designed to light up the reward centers in our brains, leaving us highly addicted and ultimately depressed, and studies showing how learning on an app doesn't always transfer to real-world knowledge. So if your toddler can build a tower of blocks on a 2D app, none of that spatial reasoning will apply when you put them in front of actual blocks. Now, like most studies, this isn't conclusive, and we won't know the full effects of screen time until years from now. And by then, the planet could be completely uninhabitable, and the only blocks kids could play with could be on a screen in a bunker anyway. But in the meantime, maybe try to keep the iPad away from your kids. Instead, you could give them those blocks, or books, or the Beatles, or nothing at all. Let them play with their imagination, or the lint in the carpet, both of which are way more educational than 95% of the junk on your phone. And if you really want your kids to learn, read to them. It's been proven over and over again that reading to your kids from birth through adolescence does more for their developing brain than any app ever could. It develops their vocabulary and empathy and patience and social skills and literacy and speaking, and maybe, just maybe, when they grow up, they'll be able to discern fact from fiction and not spread ridiculous internet hoaxes.